But I'll tell you what, I understand. I get it. Anyway, showtime's about to start, guys.
Wow.
Tonight we take a deep dive into Freeport on the Grand Bahama Island. We find out how Trump's new ruling can affect your cruise to Cuba. We have our photo of the week, some of the latest cruise news from Royal Caribbean. Lucas has another segment from crew areas on ships, and Bird is getting ready to head off on yet another cruise. So get ready for all this and more, coming right up on CruiseWeek.tv live. Our show this week is brought to you by the folks at Good Memories Travel and by vMix. Hey, fellow cruisers, both new and old to cruising. I'm your host, Joe, and this is CruiseWeek.tv. Together with Matt, Shally, Lucas, and Bird, we bring you a weekly show all about cruising with tips, tricks, interviews, reviews, and ways to save money on your next cruise. We bring on guests to answer your questions about the ships, the ports, the food, and just about everything and anything that you've ever wanted to know to save you time and money, but most importantly, for you to be able to get more out of your next cruise. This week, we take a look at the cruise port of Freeport on the Grand Bahama Island, and we talk and take your questions from the guys at Coconut Cruisers, Alfredo at Coconut Cruisers Tours. He's right there on the island every day. But before we get to him, let's take a look at our photo of the week. So, since Halloween was just last week, I wanted to pick a photo of a guest in full Halloween getup. At least I hope this is Halloween getup and not norovirus. But anyway, this photo was sent in by Darren Kirk aboard the Navigator of the Seas on Halloween night, and I'm wondering if the clown carrying him has a drink package or not. Because it looks like he's going to fall over. And remember, guys, we feature a new photo every week on the show. We choose from the Facebook groups, or you can send one directly into us from your cruise by emailing it to us at photos@cruiseweek.tv. And since moving to our new Facebook location at facebook.com/cruiseweek, we've had some interesting data come in about the show. It seems that the largest demographic of you all that watch are women between the ages of 45 and 54, or as I like to call them, women between the ages of 25 and 35. So a big shout out to all those female cruisers out there, and a big high five if that is you. High five. Also, while we're making sure everyone comes over, if you're in a Facebook group, can you take a moment right now and click the share button on this video and share it in at least one group? That way even more people can discover us and join in on the fun. Do you use a travel agent or go direct when you book your cruise? And did you know that you can actually save money by booking through a travel agent? That's something that the cruise lines won't tell you. A few other reasons for using a travel agent are personal service for one, cash credit back for another. You can actually cruise for cheaper. So whatever cruise you're planning to be on, give Good Memories Travel a call. You'll get the same great rates as you would booking yourself, plus you may get an onboard credit or a customer reward. Yes, they actually give you money to go cruise with. They enjoy planning and helping with group cruises, family reunions, weddings, honeymoons as well. Good Memories Travel specializes in handling every aspect of your group cruise. Imagine letting someone else do all the work while you get to relax. In fact, Debbie is personally handling our group cruise on the Carnival Horizon in 2019. But they don't just handle cruises for Carnival. No, they book cruises for all cruise lines like Carnival, Royal, MSC, Norwegian, New Virgin Cruise Lines, and more all over the world. They're your one-stop place for everything when you're planning your cruise. Call Debbie for a free no-obligation quote on your next cruise. What have you got to lose? Debbie can be reached at 321-338-2953, and of course, through their website at goodmemoriestravel.com, and let them know you heard about them right here on CruiseWeek.tv. Royal Caribbean held a press event Thursday to unveil its latest ship tech and plans for the future. We were given a peek at new ways to make the guest experience more seamless, like a text message when your bags arrive at your cabin so you don't have to keep going back and check, and the ability to use your smartphone and smartwatch as your sail and sign card to order drinks and purchase items on board the ship, as well as unlock your room. Simply put, that future is hassle-free, personalized, and fun. Said that was said by Jay Snyder, Senior Vice President of Digital at Royal. Royal Caribbean has gone beyond its WOW bands to develop the Excalibur app and an infrastructure including pervasive Wi-Fi, RFID tagging, GPS mapping, and Bluetooth-enabled beacons. So now you can find your kids or avoid them wherever they are on the ship. Cruisers are going to be able to breeze through embarkation thanks to facial recognition technology from their preloaded photo taken when they board and open their cabin doors without a key card. A luggage tracker will monitor the bags. Passengers will be able to stream their own content in their in-cabin television and use their personal device to control lighting, temperature, and curtains. When people order a drink with the app, it'll be delivered wherever they are. Excalibur can create a personal calendar of activities, send reminders, and offer suggestions based on interests. It facilitates wayfinding and allows people to stay connected on board and with those back home. Since it's non-proprietary, it can advance as technology advances, allowing for continuous improvement, according to RCL. Royal Caribbean's digital strategy should position the company well to attract new to cruise market, particularly millennials, given its social connectivity and mobile platform. The technology is already functioning on Allure of the Seas and Oasis of the Seas, and will be on 13% of the company's global fleet, including the Royal Caribbean International Celebrity and Azamara Club cruise brands by the end of this year. Then up to 50% at the end of 2018 and fleet-wide by 2019. You know, guys, I love technology, especially if it gets me my drinks faster. Anyway, also Royal Caribbean is expanding more ships into the Caribbean for cruisers wanting to take shorter vacations. Newly modernized and purposefully redesigned with families in mind, two of the cruise line's Voyager-class ships, Mariner of the Seas and Navigator of the Seas, will sail 3- and 4-night itineraries to the Bahamas, touting favorites unique to Royal Caribbean and new features catering to emerging trends and traveler preferences. Both ships will offer short, weekend vacations to the Caribbean. Mariner will sail from Port Canaveral, Florida, while Navigator will be based in Miami, where guests will be welcomed through Royal Caribbean's new state-of-the-art Terminal A in Port Miami. Voyager class has many of the big ship amenities, including the rock climbing wall, the ice skating rink, and Royal Promenade. Together with some exciting new features, they'll be perfect introductions for our first-time guests and families who are short on time to experience the best of the Caribbean in a weekend. Travelers from the Southwest also seeking short Caribbean getaways can take advantage of 4- and 5-night sailings on Enchantment of the Seas from Galveston, Texas, to various destinations in Mexico, year-round. Short Caribbean itineraries will be available to book the week of November 20th, 2017. Ovation of the Seas will move to her new summer home port in Seattle, Washington. On Ovation, guests will be able to get a glimpse of the Northern Lights and other Alaskan wonders from the North Star, the ship's signature glass observation capsule with panoramic views from 300 feet above sea level. Ovation guests will have the chance to skydive, surf, and swim alongside glaciers from the comfort of the ship's thrilling indoor seaplex, sports complex, solarium, and indoor or outdoor pools. Ovation will sail 7-night itineraries to destinations from Juneau to Victoria, British Columbia, showcasing Alaska's natural treasures and luring adventure seekers with stately spruce forests, island-studded waters, native wildlife, and awe-inspiring glaciers. Alaska itineraries will be available to book the week of December 11th, 2017. And if you want to know more about Alaska, watch last week's CruiseWeek.tv show where we talked all about Alaska with the Alaska tour guides from Alaskan Adventures. Now, about Cuba, with the president changing the rules regarding travel restrictions to Cuba, a lot of people are wondering if their planned cruise to Cuba will be canceled. According to the Miami Herald, U.S. citizens will be banned from engaging in business with entities tied to the Cuban military, intelligence, and security services, including hotels, stores, marinas, tourist agencies, and industries tied to the Cuban government. The regulations, however, do not restrict cruise lines from operating to Cuba as they are currently doing. So as of this latest ruling, cruise lines will continue to sail to Cuba. However, When we reached out to both Carnival and Royal, we were told that they are evaluating the situation, which is very good news for all of us, especially since I haven't been to Cuba yet and would really like to go soon. However, it seems that things are quickly changing. They're quickly changing the rules and regulations regarding Cuba. So although travel by cruise ship to this amazing place is currently still possible, we can't tell for how long it's going to remain. I wouldn't want to book a cruise to Cuba a year out rather than book it closer to the time of departure. So after we covered Alaska last week, we thought it would be we should sail into warmer climates this week and take a look at the port of Freeport on the Grand Bahama Island. This island is the northernmost island of the Bahamas in the Atlantic Ocean. It's known for its beaches, reef-lined coves, and mangrove swamps, as well as its all-inclusive resorts and golf courses. Freeport is the largest city on the island and is near popular beaches like Xanadu International Bazaar, which makes it a popular cruise ship destination for most cruise lines, covering an area of 530 square miles and having a population of 52,000 people. You may feel like you're back on the mainland rather than on a Caribbean island. So to find out more about the area and what there is to do once your ship docks, we invited the tour company Coconutz Cruisers to the show to get the inside scoop. Alfredo, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me on Cruise Week TV. Appreciate that.
Hey, Joe, how are you? What's going on?
I'm doing well. It's going great. We had some rainy weather here today in Florida, but I'm excited to hear more about Freeport today. I've been to Freeport a couple times myself, but I don't feel like that even the times that I've been to Freeport that maybe I've gotten all that I could get out of it. So tell me, what is like maybe the number one thing that tourists like to do when they go to Freeport?
Okay, awesome. Well, definitely on your next visit, you got to pay us a little visit over at Coconut Cruises, and we will take care of you. Freeport is kind of a laid-back city. Okay, Nassau would kind of be considered the New York of the Bahamas. Freeport is more laid back, a little more personal, slightly slower pace. The most Freeport is mostly known for its beautiful beaches. The Gold Rock Beach, which is, most people might have heard the Lucayan National Park, named after the Lucayan Indians. But Gold Rock Beach is a very popular beach. It's really beautiful. It was, I think, ranked in the top 10 of beaches in the world. And at low tide, it actually expands. The sand expands to about 600 feet. Going outward, and it's as far as the eye can see up and down the coast. So it's kind of like, I guess, if Christopher Columbus had landed today, that would be how he would have seen it back then. It's pretty much undeveloped. All right. There's other cool diving. If you're into diving, there's a few shipwrecks around the island. There's also shopping in the Port Lucayan Marketplace. There is something that's kind of off the beaten path. It's kind of a local kind of hidden secret, so to speak, but Owl's Hole. Apparently there's a hole where owls nest, and it's kind of a inland sinkhole, so to speak, that has fresh water, and it's about a 25 about a 20 to 25 feet jump, which a lot of folks like to, well, a lot of locals, I say, like to do.
Awesome. Excellent, excellent. So now a lot of something else that a lot of people like to do when they go to Freeport, they like to go shopping. So you have the Port Lucayan Marketplace and you have the
Yes.
International Bazaar. So where would you recommend between those two places, or is there another place that maybe you would recommend for tourists to go, and why?
Sure. Now there is the cruise port. Right around the cruise port, there's a lot of local stores. You can pick up some high-end crafts, and especially the straw work is really nice. The Port Lucayan Marketplace is another place that is very popular. It's probably the most popular place. But if you're looking for like shopping and local food, there are a few places along the outskirts, like Tino Beach, that it's kind of more so hidden. So you'll have a lot of local vendors that are out there as well. But food especially, you'll find that you get more of the authentic Bahamian flavor by being to those local small little vendors along the beach.
So now, I'm glad you mentioned food. So because you're from Freeport, you grew up. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a foodie. Yeah, definitely a foodie.
Okay.
So you're from Freeport. You grew up in Freeport. Where's a really good restaurant to go? Because I like to experience the local flavor, as most of my fellow cruisers do. What would you
Okay.
recommend to people who are foodies?
There is a little fruit kind of vendor place where you find a little restaurant tucked away in the corner, which is called Bojangles. The chef there, Aaron, is amazing, really personable. Aaron and Kathy, it's kind of a mom and pop operation, but they do really authentic like seafood, and it's all freshly done. If you want to venture out into the Port Lucaya area, there's always Zorba's, which is more of a Greek slash Bahamian restaurant. So that's an interesting mix of flavors. But there's the Agave restaurant, which is more Caribbean slash Mexican. A lot of folks like the, well, depending on your budget, there's a wide variety. The Pier 1 restaurant is now moved from the port, and it's now being opened in Port Lucaya. So that's kind of cool. This was the place that usually, I don't know if you've heard about the shark feeding. So they kind of do an hourly shark feeding in the evening. So that's kind of cool. They are also open in the days as well.
So now you mentioned too, like you have like national parks there. So
Yes.
do you get a lot of tourists that like to go to the national parks while their ship is in port?
Yes, they do. It's a little further out the way, but trust me, it is worth the journey. To go to the national park, usually there's like a $5 it's more of an administrative fee. It's just so they can kind of repair and keep up with the upkeep and the maintenance of the park. But to get to the park, it's mostly two caves. I think the most popular one is Ben's Cave, where they have actually found Indian remains, kind of the original settlers of the Bahama Islands were Indians. And so they had kind of, I think it's believed to be a burial mound in one of the caves. And as you go across the street, you actually have to cross a mangrove, which is kind of cool. It's like a whole new ecosystem onto itself. And it's kind of where most of the baby fishes and, conch and lobster kind of spawn in that area. And it's kind of like a protective area. And as you go across, that's where you end up at the Gold Rock Beach, which I mentioned earlier, which is amazing. I wish if you guys have a chance, Google Gold Rock Beach at low tide. I'm sure you'll be amazed. It's a really, really beautiful beach. Even for us locals that are used to or accustomed to beaches, I still find this to be my #1 beach on the island.
Gold Rock Beach, was that the one because we were talking a little bit before the show, was that the one that you had mentioned
Yes.
earlier that was one of the top 10 beaches in the world?
Yes, it was actually ranked as one of the top 10 beaches in the world, mostly because at low tide, like I said, it's really beautiful. It's all white, powdery sand. The sand here, it's really, really fine, which a lot of people are not accustomed to. I don't know any better. That's the only sand I know. But it's a little different. It's not as coarse. It's very fine and powdery and kind of gets everywhere. So you end up taking a little bit of the Bahamas back with you.
Well, as long as that sand doesn't end up in any uncomfortable places, we're good.
Okay.
That's my only thing about beaches. But don't get me wrong, I love them, but that's the only thing about them. So now we're going to talk, and I definitely do want to talk more about Freeport, but I want to go off to the side a little bit and talk a little bit more about Coconutz Cruisers, your tour, like your tour company there.
Yes.
What kind of tours do you guys offer on the island, and what's a favorite one?
We actually are very small. We do an electric bicycle tour now. So, you can see there's lots to see and do in the island, but we chose to deliver it originally it was motorized bicycle, but as of May of this year, we actually swapped out to electric bicycles. So it's just as cool. It's just that we can accommodate a wider variety. So we can handle, we've had guests that have been as young as 9 or 10. And we've had seniors as old as, I think, 70 or 80 that have actually done the tour. So it's really cool to have several generations all in one day, all having fun, But we kind of tour some of the highlights of the island. We actually start out in the Port Lucaya area. We cruise over to the dolphin pen. UNEXO has a dolphin facility that's really cool. We also visit Tino Beach, which is another popular beach on the island. We kind of share a little bit of our history. We also have you experience a conch demonstration. I don't know how much you know about the Bahamas, but if you know anything about the Bahamas, you have to have come in contact with the conch, okay? It's a very large mollusk, and it's kind of like a delicacy for us. So it's kind of like a bubblegum shrimp in Forrest Gump. That's the equivalent of conch for us here in the Bahamas. All right. After that, we cruise on through some of the affluent coastal areas, and we end at the Banana Bay restaurant, which is really nice. It's kind of a little low-key, off the beaten path restaurant. It has an amazing deck that comes right up to the shoreline. So it's a really, really fun place to be, and also relaxing. Hi, Terrence. I saw a shout out from Terrence. Hi, Terrence.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we just got a new little thing in where it shows like we have the comments that come in on Facebook. They show up on the screen now. They filtered, but yes. So that's and that's a good point about the conch. I always try to make a conch come in contact with me, mostly on my plate and into my stomach. So it is good food. And I'm not, honestly, that's coming from someone who's not much for shellfish. So tell me about your
Wow.
day today. What kind of tours did you give today? Did you have a good time? What
So
happened?
we had a pretty good sized group. We had about 12 people. Shout outs to Matt over in Matt and Victoria. It's actually Victoria's birthday today. She's the big four. Oh, I'm sure she wouldn't mind me sharing that with you. She's really, really cool. But they were out here, and they actually brought about 10 friends with them. If you're gonna part slash Coconut Cruises, and Coconutz has a Z at the end of it, but there was a little liquid courage going on, and also there were tons of fun. And look, this job, it's so much fun. Really, we don't have to do anything to entertain the guests. They actually do more of the entertaining for us, which is a good job to have. But there was an awesome day today. We've only met them this morning, but I swear to you, it was like saying goodbye to friends. We were kind of watching tears rolling down our eyes as they kind of make their way back to the gangway, looking back and waving. So it was really an emotional departure today, but we had lots of fun.
That is awesome, especially like that connection that you made with the tour guests. That's pretty cool. So we had a question come in from Facebook. This one comes from
Whoa.
Stacy Dizzle Smith on Facebook. She wants to
Hey,
know
Stacey.
the tours for those who cannot walk that far, if you have any, because that's what they need. She says hubby and her husband are disabled. That's the main thing that they're looking for, is something that they can see a lot of, and they don't have to be able to walk 10 miles to do it.
Okay, I will have to get you the contact, but there's actually some tours that offer disability or a mobile van. So if you're, wheelchair bound, they have certain tours that actually you can have, and they will take you on a little mini tour of the island. Most of everything is kind of caught in about the hub of it is about, I guess, about 5 or so miles, and so there's a lot to see in a little area, and so they will kind of cherry pick. So you kind of tell them what you want. If you want to see some really nice beaches or go into some of the residential areas, they will actually tailor what you want to see, and that way you kind of get the most out of your time there. So it's more focused towards things that you want to see. There's also like perfume factories and stuff where you can actually go and mix your own scent. And I have not done it, I confess, but I think I'm going to do it. We had a guest that came back, and she said, oh, before we do anything, would you mind stopping at a perfume store? I made a scent and I ran out of it, and now I want it back. And so we had to stop and a couple of minutes, and she was able to go through, and they were able to find the scent that she had mixed, or her custom scent. It was kind of interesting. And she was really happy that she was able to take her personal scent back with her, which I'm sure is nice.
That's really cool. I didn't know that there was a place there that you could mix your own
It's
fragrance.
the
That's pretty
perfume
amazing.
factory in the International Bazaar.
Okay, all right, well noted. You'll have to take me there when I come to see you
Oh,
guys
awesome.
in
We're waiting.
next time in Freeport. So
Will do.
now tell me, because I'm a scuba diver. So where is the best place that you would
Ah.
tell me as a scuba diver to go?
There are a few companies that do scuba diving. There's Fred over at the Ocean Reef. Fred is really awesome. He's usually a smaller mom and pop style operation. where it's Chibi Scuba, sorry, where you kind of get that one-on-one personalized. So you have a business owner actually operating the business as opposed to being a part of a large franchise. There's also Unexo. Unexo does a lot of shark diving as well, which is pretty cool. I've heard that you can put sharks to sleep, but I like to see my sharks through the safety of the TV screen and stuff. But Club Fortuna also has Club Fortuna, or Viva Fortuna, sorry. They also have a group there. The name kind of escapes me at the moment. But there are quite a few local outfits here that actually offer personalized scuba. And they have, I guess, regular tours, but at the same time, I believe a lot of them actually do private groups as well as cater to what you want to do. And I don't want to forget Keith over in West End actually does stingray feeding. Some folks by the scuba, but Keith actually takes you out in the boat and you go out to one of the beaches out there in West End, and they actually have the fish and stingray come up to you, which is a really, really interesting experience.
That is really like, and I've not done that myself, other than the stingray feeding at SeaWorld, but I've seen pictures of people who have. In fact, I think our photo of the week last week or a couple weeks ago that I had was somebody who had a stingray on them. It just came up and it started like nibbling at them. It was a cute picture too. But so now, where's the place in Freeport that maybe tourists don't go as often that you think that they should go?
Okay. There is also Paradise Cove. Again, you have some folks that are beginner snorkelers, and Paradise Cove is a place off in Deadman's Reef. It's more towards the western end of the western end of the island, but it's kind of an enclosed reef, and so they have baby turtles and all sorts of nesting going on, as well as a vibrant coral reef that's right offshore. So you don't have to go out in a boat. It's a nice enclosed area. They have food. They have places to kind of sit out on the deck, and you can snorkel or paddleboard, and you can go right out to the reef. And when you're ready, you just come back, have a bite to eat or relax, and you can go out again. So it's a nice place where some folks aren't, as I call it, they don't have the sea legs, so to speak. And so that's a good way to kind of experience the reef without being as intensive,
Right. So now earlier, and I want to bring this up again. Earlier, you mentioned in the national parks there were some areas that had the caves where they found the remains of some of the natives there.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about the history of the island and of Freeport.
Okay. Well, the Bahamas in general, it was originally populated by Indians, the South American Indians like the Tinos or the Arawak or the Kayan Indians. And fast forward through to Columbus, 1492. And of course, at the end of it, we actually lost all of the original inhabitants due to enslavement as well as sickness. So smallpox was the most deadly, so to speak. I think around the American Revolutionary War, after the war, we actually the Bahamas kind of gained popularity, and I take it you're a part of the winning team since you're still there in the Americas. Well, the actual quote unquote losing team. Well, I wouldn't say losing team because, when I look out, the beach is actually pretty nice. So maybe it's kind of losing the battle and winning the war. But a lot of the folks that were loyal to the British after your American Revolutionary War, they actually came to the Bahamas. And when they came, they brought with them their African slaves. And that's how who you would consider the traditional Bahamians or the original people of the Bahamas, we actually came here by way of the America as a result of slavery. So that's kind of interesting. But the original inhabitants, they were Indians, and they were the ones that were here before. Fast forward to present day, Freeport is now known as the second city or the magic city. There was a gentleman in the 50s known as Wallace Grove, and he kind of had a vision for Grand Bahama. And I think it was originally supposed to be like, I guess, a build it and they would come, like the Las Vegas, Nevada strip, so to speak. But he had a vision for Grand Bahama to be kind of a hub. And so he went ahead and he approached the British government. And I think it was originally, I think, 150,000 acres at $1 an acre, which was a steal of a deal. But he got, it's roughly about 1/3 of the island that was leased. And with the lease, he got the rights to certain the right to conduct business, as well as he was responsible for putting in the infrastructure. And that's kind of why Freeport seems a little more Americanized. And it's because there was a group of developers that actually laid out and zoned the island of Freeport. Okay, we have a very intricate canal system that kind of goes through the more of the southern, almost southern eastern part of the island, which they also did. They had a vision of, you know, it being very populated with luxurious canal homes, which we do have some really, really nice homes along the waterway. And so he was the one that kind of had a vision for Freeport, and that's why Freeport kind of became the second city, because of Wallace Grove's effort. I think in the around 1955, I think it was. Okay.
That was an excellent well, I'm in Cliff Notes version, but you know, it was an excellent like history lesson that I just got there. I never knew a good portion of what you just told me.
Wow.
So now, speaking a little bit into the history of the Bahamas and into Freeport too, I want to talk about the Festival of Junkanoo.
Junkanoo. Yeah. Sorry, were you done? Go ahead.
No, well, it's just something that a lot of people who are tourists to Freeport, I don't think that they would necessarily know about it. I certainly didn't know about it my first couple times to Freeport. Actually, it wasn't until I started reading about it more recently that I learned there was a festival of Junkanoo. So I'd like to know more about that.
Junkanoo is awesome. It's one of those things that it's hard to put into words. If you Google Junkanoo, it's really a festival that happens twice a year. Mostly it happens after Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas. So it's the 26th. And it also happens at New Year's, so the 1st of January, so the first day of the year. But it's really a festival that came as a result of slavery. During the slavery era, slaves, I guess, weren't allowed to celebrate during the regular hours because, you know, they kind of had work to do. And so what happened is they were allowed to celebrate. I think the times ended up being between about 3 o'clock in the morning till about sunrise. They had to be done and everything had to be cleaned up, I guess, after, by dawn. And so they were allowed to celebrate. And what they did is they made music out of everyday items that they found, like a cowbell, or, you know, whatever they could find, as well as costumes. They would take whatever crepe paper or whatever leftover packing paper, they would use those and they would dress up, and it goes back to their African roots. And so a large part of it is the drums. Fast forward, it's kind of gotten a little more commercialized, you know, and so you've added the kind of the steel, the other instruments and the horns, and sorry, it's very dramatic. It's kind of hard to explain. I'm just envisioning it right now. But now you have these massive costumes that some of them can be like 15, 20 feet in the air. And it's all made out of cardboard and crepe paper, which is like the colored paper, the little thin paper, as well as some little thin aluminum rods. And you have Bahamians that will march pretty much over a mile carrying this very heavy costume, okay? And it's kind of something that you kind of have to experience. It's hard to put into words, but the drum and the music, it almost puts you in a trance. It almost passes through you. So you must visit Junkanoo. Freeport has a little of it. Nassau, I must say, is where the experience is as far as Junkanoo. It's kind of like a sporting event. Where you have teams that, I mean, this is like generational teams. So you may have your grandfather was, for example, a Saxon, or a valley, which is some of the names of the Junkanoo teams, and it will go back several generations. It all stems from the area that you were in, and they will all kind of compete against one another, and it's really, really intense. It's kind of the equivalent to NBA or football for us. When it comes down to Christmas, it's really, really interesting, really fun. But if you're ever in Nassau or Freeport, I think the terminals in the Ministry of Tourism, they do try to give you a little taste of Junkanoo. But keep in mind, this is a micro version of it. So sometimes as you at they will have some of the locals dressed in the Junkanoo costume, and they will give you a little sample of the music. But whatever is presented, it's only a snapshot. It pales in comparison to the actual festival. So please, if you have a chance, and Christmas or the holiday weekend, I know it may get a little busy catching up with family and friends, but if you ever get a chance, you should come and see our Junkanoo festival. Freeport is nice, but Nassau, it's a little more of an experience. Okay.
So now, but you mentioned that it only happens twice a year: Boxing Day, of course, New Year's Day.
Yes.
And I learned that it was based on like the slaves that had to celebrate before sunup. So now, if it takes place before sunup, now what happens with the cruise ships? And because a lot of cruise ships tend to leave before the evening, so do the cruise ships ever stay for that?
Now, I am not sure. I believe I've been to Junkanoo, and there seem to be a lot of folks there, foreigners and locals. So we have a lot of visitors to the island. But I'm sure that sometimes they may actually, if you book during that time, it may be a thing where you're booking a cruise to experience the Junkanoo festival. And so I'm not sure. I'll have to get back to you on that. But I believe they may have crews that may stay overnight just to experience the Junkanoo. So that's something I have to look into and get back to you. But I'm sure it's an experience, and it's worth seeing. And as a result of that, I don't think the cruise ship would miss opportunities like that to have their guests experience the Junkanoo of the Bahamas.
Well, Alfredo, you've been an amazing guest tonight, and I'm not wrapping up just yet. I have maybe just like one or two more questions for you, but I just want to let you know we have one or two more questions for you before we start wrapping up, because we're getting a little close on time here. But you've been very informative. You've been an awesome guest for us tonight. So tell us a couple things before we go. One, what is unique about the Port of Freeport that sets it aside from the rest of the Bahamas, in your opinion?
In my opinion, Freeport, it's laid back. It's managed by a group called the Port Authority, and so they kind of do all the maintenance for the island and stuff. And just the feel of it, it's always been something that was a little more relaxed, a little more laid back. Some folks appreciate kind of the faster pace in life. Nassau has more of the nightclubs and the vibrancy in the evening mostly, as well as in the day. But Freeport has more of a subtle, laid back approach to it. I've had a number of guests on tour, and they've visited both Freeport and Nassau, especially, when you get the more settled folks that are looking to retire. We have folks that come and visit, say, from Canada, and they actually go and then they end up buying a condo on their next visit. And it's crazy because they will stay during the winter months from November all the way to April, and they actually rent out the condos on like Airbnb, and the condo kind of pays for itself. So it's like a free vacation home, so to speak. But it's cool. But Freeport, it's really quiet. We have an abundance, of beaches. So if you like beaches and you're not one to be a part of like the crowds, Freeport is a really nice place to be. You can kind of have almost the beach to yourself. We have folks that come out on the beach and they look around and they're like, oh my God, where are the people? But we just have so many beaches to choose from that it's always really tranquil. If you're like a writer or a novelist or a blogger, this is an awesome place to be. You can get a lot of work in. There is nightlife, but there is still a lot of like relaxed activities and stuff that you can do here in Freeport.
So now, my last question for you, and this is probably going to be one of the most important ones: Coconutz cruisers. People who
Yes.
are watching the show are going to want to go and come and see you, and they're going to want to take a or take a tour with you when they come to Freeport. How are they going to be able to get in
Awesome.
touch with you? What's the best way?
It's simple. We are on Facebook. Our website. We have a website. It's www.coconutz with a Z cruisers. And oh, there you go. Charles has it up. Way to go, Charles. So you can check out our website. We're also on TripAdvisor, and you can kind of look at our web page and our Facebook page to get a feel of what the tour is about. The tour actually includes a whole photo album. So we actually go ahead and we actually take pictures of the day, which we email back to you. So the tour is actually inclusive of a full photo album that you get to document. It may not sound like much, but as you get older, you can kind of put, some folks have been really creative with it, and they have, like, your cruise experience, for example. We've had folks that have kind of documented the actual tour, their cruise experience, and they will go ahead to Shutterfly or, one of those Apple MacBooks, and they will go ahead and put together a photo album, and they make like a little coffee table keepsake, and you'll have like Vacation 2017, Vacation 2018, and when you're about 70 or so, you kind of could flip through this. So it's a good way to kind of, go back. But like I said, Coconut Cruises, we usually cater to smaller groups. It's about kind of taking a ride off the beaten path. We have smaller groups. We're really intimate. We want to learn about you. We love our island, and we love sharing information about our island. And so if you like something that's uniquely, different, and you happen to be stopping into Port to Freeport, go ahead and hit us up on our Facebook page. You can actually book and choose your day online. If you have other questions, feel free to shoot us an email, or we have a U.S. number, 954-354-6889, as well as a local number. So just give us a call, send us a message on Facebook. We'll do our best. We'll get back to you, and we will try to arrange a really unique Bahamian experience for you.
Alfredo, you've been an awesome guest. Thank you so much. You've been very informative, and I look
Joe.
forward to seeing you the next time I'm in Freeport. Thank you, sir.
Come
High
on.
five, air high five.
All
There you
right.
go.
Yes.
Bam. Yes. It worked. It worked. That was a thing. Anyway, so guys, our cruise show and all the wonderful abilities that we have to bring in guests like Alfredo remotely wouldn't be possible at the level that we do it without vMix. vMix is the live production software that powers our live show and many other high-end productions, from church services to football games. More and more live productions are running on vMix. And what our producer Bird really liked when he was trying to improve our show is that they give you a full 60-day trial of everything. That way, you can test it out risk-free before you buy for a full 2 months. And then they have systems starting at just $350 up to $1,500, depending on your production requirements. And if you're going to do any sort of serious live streaming, you need vMix. So try it at vmix.com today for free. So a few years ago, I took a cruise to Cozumel, and we had booked a very exciting excursion to Tulum. Tulum, if you don't know, is the site of a pre-Columbian Mayan walled city in the Mexican state of Quintana Roo. And if you get a chance to go, it is a great place to get a glimpse of the ancient Mayan city. Now, this particular Mayan site may formerly have been known by the name of Zama, meaning City of Dawn, because it faces the sunrise. It stands on a bluff facing the east toward the Caribbean Sea. The walls surrounding the site allowed Tulum Fort to be defended against invasions. Tulum had access to both land and sea trade routes, making it an important trade hub, especially for obsidian. Tulum was one of the last cities built and inhabited by the Maya, and it was at its height between the 13th and 15th centuries and managed to survive about 70 years after the Spanish began occupying Mexico. Old world diseases brought by the Spanish settlers appear to have resulted in very high fatalities, disrupting the society and eventually causing the city to be abandoned. Tulum archaeological site is relatively compact compared to many other Mayan sites in the vicinity, and it remains one of the best preserved coastal Maya sites. Its proximity to the modern tourism developments along the Mexican Caribbean coastline and its short distance from Cancun and the surrounding Riviera Maya has made it a popular Maya tourist site in the Yucatan. Daily tour buses bring in a constant stream of visitors to the site. The Tulum Ruins are the third most visited archaeological site in Mexico after the Teotihuacan and Chichen Itza. And I hope I pronounced that first one correct. Probably didn't, but I hope I did. It's popular for its picturesque view of the Caribbean and a location just 128 kilometers, that's 80 miles for those of us in the U.S., south of the popular beach resort of Cancun. So if you ever cruise to Cozumel, an excursion to Tulum might be worth checking out. Our very first group cruise is set for the Carnival Horizon in 2019. This is being put on by our good friends at Good Memories Travel, and we'd love to get our community on there with us. It's February 23rd, 2019, and we hope to have our entire team on board and be having a blast with you all, as well as enjoying one of Carnival's biggest and newest ships. The entry for the $500 drawing has also been extended, so you can be entered into that when you book. There's a webpage for the cruise, and that's CruiseWeek.tv/group cruise. Let us know what you'd like to see on the group cruise, since we've never done one before. The entry for the $500 drawing is extended till December 31st, so go ahead and book and join myself, Bird, Matt, Shally, with all of you guys on the ship. Now, Lucas has been busy working on a cruise ship after cruise ship, but he takes time out of his busy schedule each week to send us a quick Below Decks interview, so we're going to check that out. Lucas?
All right, guys, it's comedian Lucas Bone with another episode of Life Below Deck. And this week, we are with two people who actually met while performing on land and are now engaged and working as professional singers on a cruise ship. And fans always ask, they say, Lucas, when are you going to interview someone that is married to someone that is on a cruise ship and that they work with every day? So first of all, let me start off. Guys, please tell me your name and how long you guys have worked on ships.
First?
This is my stage name.
The stage name? Sure.
I am Kelly Hart. This is Trevor.
Trevor McGinnis. And it's been about 2 years? A little over
on
2
ships?
years.
I already forgot the question. On ships? Yeah, 2 years.
A little over 2 years on ships.
Awesome. Now, real quick, guys, what is it like to work with someone that you're engaged to, but also have to live with them in close confines? Give us a little bit about that.
It's pretty easy for
Yeah,
us.
it's pretty easy. We get along very well, and we're also really good. I mean, with the rooms being as small as they are, with making sure work stays in the work area, and we try not to bring it down. We learned. Yes.
There's a cutoff time and a cutoff amount of alcohol where work does not come up.
You don't talk about work.
Nice. People always want to know. I know the answer, but regular people might not. They always ask me, if you're married and you're in the same cabin, do you have bunk beds or do you have like a big bed? They always want to know that.
We have a big bed, but it also I guess it's my rank. I'm considered 2.5 stripes.
Oh.
So I don't
I'm
have
a
a
singer
bunk
tad,
room. I
sir.
have a single cabin with a big bed. So thankfully we don't have to bunk it.
Yeah, but some couples, if they don't get the right lottery ticket,
If they're not married to the right guy with
They're
the
not-
right rank,
you know,
yeah, they got to do the bunk bed.
they got to bunk bed it.
So let me ask a question. Who takes up, because the cabin isn't very big, who takes up more space and with stuff? Like,
You.
Yeah, a little bit me. But that being said, I also have to have more shoes and dresses. He gets away with one suit.
Has to have more shoes.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. No doubt.
Well, we have a nice chair in the room that we put all our dirty clothes on. So
Close chair.
That's nice.
Which I cleaned, but yesterday, and there's already someone's
And it was mostly my
clothes. So if we talk about drawer space, me. But if you talk about stuff being thrown around the room,
Yes. Okay, the ideal date, if you're not talking about work, if you're just going out in a port doing something fun as two people that are in love, you're not doing work stuff, what is something that you like to do together when you're off of a ship, like in a port?
Oh, we're pretty much food central. Yeah.
Nice.
We like to find new restaurants, or if we have a craving for something, like we haven't had Italian in a while, so go like find a nice Italian place.
Or sushi. We have our places, creatures of habit.
Nice.
And then, we know the guy that plays guitar in the bar.
Of course.
The waitress recognizes us and we just get that discount right away.
Nice. Boom. All right. Well, Trevor and Kelly, thank you so much for doing this interview. Guys, tune in next week. All new episodes. Thanks so much, guys. And if you're here on the Enchantment of the Seas, make sure you go see the production shows and tell them that Lucas sent you. Next week, Life Below Deck. Good night.
Dance to the music. Dance to the music. All we need is a drummer. But people only need a beat. Hey, hey, yeah. Right about now. Funk soul brother, check it out now. Funk soul brother, right about now. Funk soul brother, check it out now. The funk soul brother, right about now. The funk soul brother, check it out now. The funk soul brother, right about now. The funk soul brother, check it out now. The funk soul brother, hey, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on, let me hear you make some noise. Funky, funky song. Come on this side now. Let me hear you. Woo! Oh, you got to let.
Awesome video, and I always look forward to Lucas's videos. Guys, next week, Bird is on Majesty of the Seas, so be sure to keep an eye on your Facebook and Periscope for some fun live videos from the ship and an interview or two with the crew. Also, remember to turn on notifications on Facebook and on Periscope so you can get in on the action when he goes live, and you'll be able to put your questions in during the crew interviews. Bird is going to be on the ship from Monday to Friday, and it's the same ship that he was on last year for the Halloween cruise. If you'd like him to show you something special on the ship, let us know in the comments, and we'll do our best. Next week, we're going to take a deep dive into the port of Bonaire, and our guest will be from that island. So if you've ever wanted to know all about that port, be sure to join Matt right here next week to find out all about it, and also how Bird did on his trip. And guys, if you know someone who's going to enjoy watching this show as much as you do, be nice and share this link to their Facebook wall. That way they too can enjoy. Also, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just doing that alone really helps show our sponsors the support we have, and it helps keep the show alive each week. Also, before we go, I want to thank Cruising Cat from RC Periscopers. Hey, Cruising Cat, for helping us out in the Periscope chat room, keeping order over there. If you guys want to see a lot of live streams from the people on the ships, head over to RC Periscopers group on Facebook for a list. Thanks everyone for coming in and joining us. Matt is going to be back next week, and keep an eye out on Wednesday for me, Matt, Bird, and the social live stream where they get to know you just a little bit better and in a more informal setting. That's all that we have for you guys today. With that being said, we'll see you guys next time. Stay